up with Spandau Ballet, and thanks for watching Music News.
Spandau Ballet, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Soul Boys of the Western World premiered here at South by Southwest in Austin. Why South by Southwest?
Oh, this is perfect storm of opportunity for us. It's a film festival and it's a music festival. It's indie. It's a great place to relaunch Spandau in America. But also because South by now is so internationally famous. You're here. And so, you know, we thought we really wanted to get this film finished in time to get into this festival, and they wanted us to, and we had to come and play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the great thing about having the premiere for the film here on Wednesday. It was like, you know, guys, we're going to show the film, you've got to play a gig. And so then that's kind of brought us together again after 4 years, rehearsed a couple of weeks ago, played the gig. Everyone seems to have loved it, we loved it. And it's a great vibe here. It's a really good vibe. Loads of bands and music. It's a fantastic place.
Yeah, we've been going out and seeing bands as well.
Yeah, who have you seen interesting best band so far for yourselves?
Well, I saw
apart from us.
Obviously apart from yourselves.
I think Tony's seen the most.
Yeah, I saw. We saw Coldplay and Blondie, Gary Newman, Soundgarden, Imagine Dragons. Yeah, so
I haven't seen any really new young bands, I have to say.
Yeah.
We missed London Grammar, and I really wanted to see
we were there for that
too.
It was so great the other night, wasn't it? It's the first time we played a small venue like that for so many years. You know, in 2009 we got back together. And we toured through Europe, but it was all arenas. So playing on big stages and like separated from each other. But to be in that gig the other night, where it's back as a tight unit, almost like the early days playing.
So the last time we played in the club,
it was like playing a marquee.
Since we played the New York Underground Club in 1981, we haven't played a club since. But we've learned a lot since then, and you know, listen. I mean, I think actually, you know, an arena band just plays the same show. They just squash it right up and make it tight.
The major difference when you're playing arenas, because you've got lights and everything, you kind of, it's a little bit choreographed.
It's also choreographed.
And you know that the certain lights are going to be over there. That's where you are, and they say, look, make sure you're there at that point because that's where the solo is or whatever. But you have none of that. There's no restrictions whatsoever in these club things. You know,
all he was doing was pushing me out of the way. There's me singing. He comes up to the sax.
It's really exciting, you know, not falling off the stage for one.
It was excellent, but yeah, I mean, getting back to the film and that, was there bits? I mean, it was an excellent film. I have to admit, I think it's the best documentary I've ever seen, and I'm not just saying it. It's fantastic and very emotional and warts and all. So I mean, it must have been a little bit uncomfortable watching certain points.
I saw you there because I thought, who's that guy with good hair?
But so it's, you know, it was literally, that is the story.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it was really tough. It was actually the first time all five of us have seen it together, and it was certainly the first time we've seen it with other people in a room. And we were worried. We thought, is anyone going? I mean, forgetting the hard, tough stuff in the third act. You know, is anyone going to get our humour? Because so much of it is on the screen, you know, and it seems so British, that humour. But I think there was a lot of Americans. Americans are interested in British pop culture. You know, they have been since the 60s. And I don't think enough of the 80s has really been dealt with in that fashion. And it seems to, you know, it's not just about Spandau. It's about a lot of the British invasion during that period of the 80s, and where they came from, and their working class background, and how it was born, really. And so I think there's a lot of enthusiasm in America for that knowledge.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go on. You go.
I was just going to say, also the film is kind of a rite of passage film, and when we started on the idea of making the documentary, it was not to make a documentary, it was to make a movie that stands up in its own right, because it's kind of rite of passage. It's about kids growing up, you know. Our story is an extraordinary one, but to other people, everybody's life's extraordinary. Everybody's got that extraordinary moment, and that's what we tried to do. We tried to reflect.
But saying that, can I just add, just quickly, for other people's we had nothing to do with the documentary. It was really, or even though, you know, it was our idea and we made it happen, we could only make it could only be a good film if we stayed out of the room when it was being made.
So there was no bits that you never saw that, you know, bits that you said, no, that can't go in, or all of that sort of stuff. You
George,
just saw it and that was it.
We left it entirely to George Hinkin, who's
Be careful of quality.
fantastic. And our individual comments, I mean, we didn't vet them or anything. We had to make an honest film against a major, you know, within that decade, major political, economic changing landscape. Us as about, I tell you what was nice about looking at it now and thinking about it now, is that, okay, we take ourselves fairly seriously, and I think a lot of people always saw us as very serious young men. But there's a great sense of humour within the film.
It's
enabling people to see,
which is what we've got in the back.
Which is, you know, okay, we like to pose occasionally, but we're also got a great sense of humour, and we're, you know.
I mean, all the voiceovers were done individually, so none of us had any idea what Martin was saying.
You don't have any idea what he's saying.
What was that?
Well, no, generally, that's fair point.
I learned that bit about Dame Alice Owens, or don't know, a tone got in.
It still remains a mystery to me.
Mind you, they tried to get me out several times.
They kicked you out eventually.
But you know, for us, it's a great sort of historical document for our friendship. You know,
absolutely.
And other people can relate to that. That's the journey that we all have.
Because as a band, you know, everyone, because you've been so sort of exposed, as it were, there's so many fans that think, they owe you, but they own you, but you feel like you know you really well, just, you know, because you're there all the time. And so this encapsulates the whole, you know, history of the band. Even, let's say, you know, when you say at the start of the film that you sort of made music to fit that scene, was it literally like that?
I think we found like all kids do, when you're growing up, you're interested in all stuff that's going around, you know, and you're very eclectic. Whether it's, for us, the journey was glam rock, soul music, punk, but for all of those we were too young. And then suddenly we meet these young kids. A bunch of them had just come back from Berlin and brought all these really interesting electronic music with them, Rusty Egan, and it was and we stumbled into this little club. Let's not confuse people. It's Rusty and Steve Strange didn't own this club. They were just running it on a dead night. The boss said, "Yeah, you go on. You fill it on a Tuesday." And
it was a wine bar during the day.
And we took it over, and he took it over. But it was really hugely influential. It was a mixture of fashion students from St Martin's, of sort of old soul boys, of kids who had grown up with punk and Bowie, and the music started to get underneath our skin that Rusty was playing. And of course, we then go out and buy a synthesizer. This is the kind of music we should be writing now. Let's do that.
Yeah, I don't think you should take that we made music to fit that scene literally. You know, it was about, you know, we were the kids in that club. The influences that were coming off the turntables just soaked into us, the same as it did the rest of everybody else in there.
Were there points, you know, obviously throughout this massive journey that you've been on, that you just literally thought, I cannot believe what is happening?
Oh, every day almost, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when you're a kid, you know, it was quite simple for me. What do you want to do? Well, play football or play drums, and that was it. Really, I mean, this week, you know, just hanging out, it's been such fun.
And still to be completely up there as well, even now.
We're still having a great time, and that's what it's all about. I mean, to cut a long story short, went to number 5. I mean, I don't think any of us really thought that it would be that successful, our first single, because that's not the way it really happened in those days. And you know, I remember walking into a pub, and all of a sudden they're playing my record. Fantastic! It just is such a great feeling of success, and then of course you got the teen screen part, which is when we were propelled to worldwide superstardom, if you like. All a bit mad. It's a bit crazy.
I don't think we've ever lost that excitement, that wonderment, and you know, what else would you rather do? You know?
I think watching the film, I got the impression about myself, I didn't fully appreciate this gift that I had at that time. You know?
I don't think any of us did.
You're working really hard to achieve things. You think you're owed stuff, and it was amazing to be in this heightened reality.
But it's also manic as well. I
you're
mean,
too busy doing it. You're in the eye of the storm. It's very difficult
to
see what
sit back.
You know.
I mean, I think we've done
appreciate the influence you have on people and exactly.
Exactly.
You know what I think? I think by the time when you're a kid, you're always after the next thing. So, but if you're like a young band and your aim is to play in Hammersmith Odeon, to 2,000 people, that's where you believe that's where you want to go.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to Hammersmith Odeon, what you really want is to play Wembley.
Yeah.
And so you're never really quite there. Your ambition has always moved on.
Yeah,
It never changes. I mean, we've still got loads of goals, really.
Probably we
can't
appreciate
sort of
living in
jaded,
the moment a lot more now.
Yeah.
We had a nasty moment in the time, in the middle bit, as you know. But we'll document
all stories. The comeback is.
But we've got that sort of behind us now. With hindsight, it's like we've got another chance now. Now we've come back together.
This week's been very special.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time here, to be honest.
Laughing all the time.
It's just we've had endless people wanting to talk to us. There's been so much to do. Today we're playing doing on a channel. And then we're playing tonight at the Lou Reed Tribute Show, which was important for us. Apparently, they really wanted us. So
what a gas that'll be!
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. And is there sort of new material coming out? What's the future?
We hope, we did a bit of new material 4 years ago when we got together, and we all got on really well. We went into a residential studio. How mad was that? We could have killed each other.
It was actually great. It was fantastic.
And we had a great time, and we want to do some more of that and play together. Life short. We had much chance to have another 20 years off.
So exactly.
Even another 4 years off.
They'll be wheeling you on, son. They're wheeling you on.
I've got to just say one thing about the film. It was important to us. What we wanted in our brief really was to make a film that was a really good 3-act story that would be appreciated even if you didn't care about Spandau. That you could watch it, and we started screening it to really young kids who had no knowledge of the music, and to see what they felt about it. And they were totally fascinated by the old stuff. That kids could dress up and be as wild as we all were at the end of the 70s and the beginning of the 80s. But also I think it's a universal story about friendship and the vagaries of that, and what can happen to that.
Redemption.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But also, I mean, economically, politically, the global sort of politics at the time. We were living in the backdrop to it, Cold War, Berlin Wall coming down, where we played that night in Berlin. The Thatcher era, the strikes. I mean, Britain was a live age. There's so much that happened in that decade, which has really shaped a lot of what we do today. And so from that point of view, I think it's very interesting.
I think we're looking forward very much to the 4th act, really.
Absolutely. Long may last. 4th, 5th. But if you had to if you had to individually choose the best sort of top 3 tracks, what would obviously your repertoire? What
We've
would
got to kick off with To Cut a Long Story Short, because that kind of did kick it all off.
Yeah, totally.
Always through the barricades from
Through the barricades, chart number 1.
Yeah.
True. Chart number 4.
Gold.
We're all scared to say True, of course, because that's been the track that's been most, important, has given us the most leverage, if you like, across the world. And in a way, we try and focus on other ones. Love Cut Long Story Short and those that electronica period, chart number 1, of course.
I think we're still we love what we do, and we love it. We're excited about all the tunes, and I suppose having that hiatus, should we call it, for some considerable time, means that we come back to it now and just digging it all.
No, but it certainly looks like you're having a good time.
People often ask, do you get bored singing that song or whatever? No, I still love it because it's a backdrop to people's lives, and people have had babies, made love to it, got married to the and our songs have got them through sort of problems and
They don't make love to it during playing on stage.
Well, I don't mind.
Never know.
There's always a first.
Well, thanks a lot for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything else you'd like to say to Music News watchers?
I hope that Spurs beat the Arsenal.
It was going so well.
Yeah, the band's broken up again.
Dream on.
I think we're planning on a world tour. And of course, UK absolutely really important to us. We will be doing that very soon.
Fantastic. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Great to see you again.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Cheers, bro.